All right, to discuss, we're joined by political analyst Professor Andre Duvenhage. Professor, thank you for being with us. Was this the right choice for the party?
Good afternoon, Francis. Yes, indeed. I think it was the best choice under circumstances. I think that the Democratic Alliance consolidated itself since 2019. Currently, the surveys are indicating a support base around 25%. And I think if the DA is performing well, they can have an impact on the 2024 elections.
It's often been asked, did the other leader contender, Dr Mpho Phalatse, ever stand a chance?
Well, my assessment was from the beginning that no, she didn't really stand a chance. But that is not to say that she is not an important role player. I still think she can play a very important, maybe even a critical role within the context of the DA, not only in terms of representativity, but also in terms of leadership. And I think it will be a sad day for both her and the DA if she decided to leave the party as a result of the outcome.
Well, John Steenhuisen is using the words the DA as an alternative government. Many have argued the DA cannot be any sort of alternative in this country without a black leader. What do you think?
Well, not necessary. We have seen that the DA, in terms of coalition politics, can become an alternative. We have seen that in provinces like the Western Cape. We have seen that in terms of multi-party coalitions, etc. But you are absolutely right. The DA is in need of black support. And already, as is the case at the moment, the black support is to a certain extent dominant within the DA. The DA at the moment as a party is already the most representative party in the country. And if you look at the core support base, it is among all the groups, including the black group. And the black group must become even more important in future if you look at the demography of South Africa. So yes, it is critical. I think Steenhuisen can lead the party in this context, but black support for him and the party will be critical in the 2024 elections.
Can you explain what you mean? Because the federal chairperson who's come back, the council chairperson, unopposed, Helen Zille, said the same thing yesterday, that the DA is the most diverse party. Many people look at the leadership and say, in fact, it's lily white. Many of the membership is. Are you talking about voters? Just explain exactly what you mean when you say it's the most diverse.
Well, if you compare that to parties like, for example, the ANC and the EFF, they are a lot more representative in terms of their support base, but also in terms of their leadership and the racial profile of their leadership. If you went to that conference, you will saw the diversity that is going on. We talk about 3 to 4 million supporters. At the moment, there's a lot less white people who can vote under these circumstances. So there must be a lot of colored, Indian and black voters supporting the DA. And we have also seen black people in leading positions in the DA. Referring to Mpho Phalatse, she was the mayor of the Democratic Alliance in Joburg. So there is room. And I think the core principle in the DA is all about shared principles. It's not about race or color or identity, but about the sharing of certain values. And in a way, that is the future to me, and that's also the future when it comes to coalition politics. And we know coalition politics are going to be critical in the future.
Well, is it the whose fault is it that some people won't vote for the DA, sometimes on principle terms? They still see the party as a white party. Helen Zille blamed the media. Is it the media that has come up with a narrative and vilified the DA?
Well, I won't take it to the media. My argument about the media is you need to play your politics in such a way that the media can present your party or your interest in a constructive way. But I think the fact is that the Democratic Alliance is still seen as a white-dominated party in an environment, and election results are showing us this, where people are still voting in terms of identity, specifically in terms of race and culture. And when it comes to race and culture, the white people, as we know, is a minority. In that sense, it is problematic for many people. We also have seen the exodus of a number of leaders within the Democratic Alliance, leaving for alternative political homes. But it's quite interesting. The majority, including Mmusi Maimane, did not achieve success. The exception to the rule is Action South Africa with Herman Mashaba, who has made an impact on political processes. But the fact of the matter, it is still seen as a white party, while the statistics are indicating that at least in a way, the DA is the most representative party in racial terms currently in South Africa among the major parties, referring to the ANC, the EFF, the IFP, and a few others.
All right, final question. The election campaign seems like it's going to be very anti-EFF, if we're getting a sense from what John Steenhuisen said today. Basically, vote for the DA, that'll deal with the EFF threat. Do you think that will be effective with white voters and black voters? Because you're saying, like many have said, the DA needs both.
Well, I think in politics, it is very important to define your enemy or to define your opposition. And it's quite clear that the value system of the Democratic Alliance, as well as their political strategies, are clearly opposed to that of the EFF. And we have seen strong action coming from the Democratic Alliance against the EFF with regard to the shutdown. So I believe sometimes you are defining your identity by defining your opposition. And this is what is happening here. And I think in terms of the constituency of the DA, this is a very important message. On the other side, you can argue that the DA is in need for black support, and they need to open up a bit in order to accommodate other views in order to get strengthening their support base in terms of democratic principles.
All right, thank you for being with us. That was political analyst Professor Andre Duvenhage.